Okay, so we're getting ready to measure our hay. We haven't showed you guys this yet just because we haven't done this until just now. And as you know, I work on industrial scales, so I occasionally acquire scales that had been broken or one part of the scale was broken. And so I've got this scale that I set up with a broken cable that I attached to another scale that had been part of actually in a fire. So the customer didn't need it anymore. So we've got a couple of scales, forgive the crappy standards, but this is a 2 and a 1 pound standard. So we've got 3 pounds on there. And we've got a reading of 3 pounds, which is pretty cool. It runs on the DC or AC. And then I'll pull off the 1 pound, show the people. They go to 2.
It went to 2. There's a glare.
I'm gonna pull off the 2. So we've got a quick reading. I would have brought out some 50s, but I'm too lazy. So you get 3 pounds. So we'll go ahead and show you 3 pounds again. So there's 2. There's 2, and then there's 1 more. So we can see it going up the weight. And then if you really want to see what our hay weighs, you'll see in just a second.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the scale registering 0.0 and center 0. I'll show the people at home. So basically what I'm looking at is I just want to follow the horizon and keep it level. And then here. And then of course I work on vehicle scales that already automatically calculate for pitch and roll. And that's actually a big part of what I do. And so one of these days I'll get one of those and then I'll have a forklift scale. So these are our first run. And the hay is just fine. It's fine quality, but we didn't know how to run the machinery yet. We were having problems we were working through. And so they're much lighter and they also sat a little bit longer. So we'll just grab this one here and you can see it's at 0, right? Check. Try to give them a shot of both at the same time.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got this. We're gonna put this down. So what do we have? It's probably pretty light.
25.7.
25.7 pounds, okay? So we got a 25.7 pounds so far, which is pretty light. And then here's a little bit better one. Again, we were just working out bale density at this point. So what do we have here? Whoops, it rolled. Hold on. There you go.
25.7.
25.7. Okay, so those are the kind of the low grade, worst problems we had. Here's one that is mid-grade, okay? You can tell because it's still got the green. This was one where we kind of had it working well, but we were just getting lucky. And, oh geez, this one's heavy. It's gonna slip out of my hands with these gloves. You got 0?
Yep, we're 0.
Jeez. Try to give the people a shot at the same time.
Hey.
From back there. So what do you got?
64.4.
So 64.4 pounds.
They can't.
That's our mid-grade.
I can't see both at the same time.
Well, How about
Because it's
this?
really hard to see the screen. The glare is bad. So if
Oh,
you
we
can
just
see
have
it,
a
you
nasty.
can't see anything.
Well, in that case, we'll change the angle. Okay, here we go. So now try that from here. You'll be able to see both because I can see them both in my field of vision. Can you see it?
Can't
and
read
then
it.
You can just read it.
Okay.
Okay, so we got 64.4 pounds.
Yep.
Right? Oh, that's so much heavier. So that's like our mid-grade quality. That's where we were kind of getting things figured out, but they were still maybe not quite as good as we wanted them.
We just had a lot of inconsistency in the middle in terms of density.
This is our worst row. Then we have this row where it kind of got a little bit better, but you can see it's still not very dense. Then we have these. This actually came off the back, but it was a weird outlier. It was like the only one of the 100 that we got back there that wasn't okay. Then the better grade, but this one had a bunch extra wraps. So we'll show you that one. So what did we have, 65 on that last one?
Yep.
So this one here is probably about the same. Did you start from 0?
Yep. That one's 60 even.
60 even?
Yep.
Okay. So 60 even on that with about 3 pounds of net wrap. Just a joke. Just a joke, guys.
Kinda.
Okay, so that one can go back up in there. It's actually a pretty good roll. This one here is probably somewhere in the middle. It's going to be like probably in the 55s. This is again off our first batch, but we were kind of getting the hang of it at this point.
Ooh, good guess. 52.4.
Yep, so it's right in the middle.
It's like you work on scales for a living.
Yeah, exactly. So, and just so you guys know, that scale is legal for trade, 500 by 0.1. So these are all of the same time frame, and just for easy figuring, we'll just take this one because it's easy to get out. I'm just trying to pick them at random, and this is why you want these, because if you got square barrels, you're carrying them, and square barrels are not going to do well with moisture. Okay? Oh geez.
Oh man.
How much? 80?
70.5.
70.5?
Yep.
Okay. And this is not one of the densest. So basically our lowest grade would be in the 25 pound range to 30 pound range. Then we go up to about 50 to 60. And then we go to about 70. And I want to get another sample of those, because those are kind of like our finished good quality. And of course you'll have the original. You'll have occasionally where we were wrapping on a hill and you'll have a little bit that spills out the end. So you can see, look how much better this is. It's dense, it's easy to pick up and handle, but it's heavy. So we'll just take one randomly. Show them down here just how big it is. Oh man, that sunset's beautiful. You can see it's about as tall as I am. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. I guess I'll just, oh good Lord, that one's heavy, of course. So I'm gonna just take this one. I've been trying to figure out the best ways to carry these, and there's a million different ways to do it. You can either grab the edge or you can grab the netting. Okay, you got 0?
Yep.
Okay, so we're kind of sinking down a little bit on the hydraulics here. What do we got, probably 80?
76.8.
76. So basically, just for the sake of not killing myself to move these things a million times, you can figure on our newest run, a safe estimate would be about 75 pounds. So 70 to 80 pounds. There's a few in there. There's probably a 100-pounder here and there. Andrew, my son, knows. And then our lowest grade when we were first getting the machinery figured out, which we didn't realize it at the time, but we had a linear actuator that had failed and it broke its mount. And so as a result, we had to fix that. And once we fixed it, then we got into the mid-grade stuff and we were figuring out one other issue, which was the density setting. And then we had a little bit of issue with the door opening and closing on the baler. And so we actually moved the sensor to a different point, which worked out really nice. And that got us from the mid-grade to the final. We also had a little bit more consistency because in the back we've got a little bit, it's just more straight grass. And up here we have a very small percentage of red clove mixed in, and you can see where the red clove is here in the walkway.
This it's
Basically,
a little bit taller right
anywhere
now.
I cut part of the path, and then over here where the trailer sits and the different storage stuff sits, that is where the red clover seems to do so much. And you can see the hydraulics are really relaxing now, so I should probably pause you for a second and get that level.
Okay.
That's what you get. It's really a ton of work to take this hay, but look how nice this stuff is. We still got a little bit of color in there, which I guess is a good thing. And it's nice and dry. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And look, we even got seeds in there. I wish I would have knocked more of them off. Actually, I knocked most of the seeds off. And you're just left with those little casings.
Yeah,
so,
this stuff looks really nice.
Without further ado, you can see big improvements as we worked our way through. And of course, this stuff, the birds have been trying to get in here and use it for nesting material. So we're gonna have some of the best bird nests in the planet here in this neighborhood. But that's the way the hay's turned out. Obviously, you guys have seen the process from the ridiculously long drum cutter setup and build, or whatever you want to call that. That was ridiculous. All the way up to the 6-arm rake, which is really fun to watch. I don't know why. Then all the way up to the baler. And now you can see the finished product that's ready for sale. And it is ready for sale. So if you guys are if you want to buy some of this actual hay, and you don't mind paying exorbitant UPS or FedEx rates, we could FedEx or UPS it anywhere in the world, but that would be nuts. And we don't really intend to sell this online, but if that's the way people want it, that's cool. You can have a little piece of our dream here, and then look, whatever that is.
We'll even send you giant, oh, that's not a bug.
It's not a bug.
I thought it was a
It's a
bug.
plant. It's nutrition. It's probably a legume. So guys, without further ado, we're really glad that you stuck with us through this whole project. It's going to consume some of our time, so it's just something we wanted to share. It's part of this process of making this land work for the family, and anybody who's worked on trying to get an acreage will understand. And just look at this beautiful sunset for a second. I mean, that's why we designed the house the way we did, was to capture the sunset this exact time of year, right?
Yeah, pretty
or was
much.
it the end of July? It was
Well,
like early, the
through
longest
the summer.
day of the year, the summer solstice. We pointed the house that direction so that we would get the summer solstice sunsets, which are about 10 times longer than the sunsets during winter, which is also blocked by this tree line. So we love it, and it just gets gorgeous out here. And then, what was it, on the 4th of July, we had about a 30-minute grand finale, city-style grand finale from our neighbors just over the tree
Right
line.
over that tall tree.
I mean,
right
it was
between the tall tree.
so long, I got bored of watching it, and I went in because it was so long. I mean, it was so cool. And we were literally taking this hay, and we have another 44 of those in the back, so we got 194 mini bales. Granted, the front ones are, like, that front stack is really bad. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 are bad. And then the rest are actually pretty decent quality. It was just extra wraps when we had problems. And the biggest problems we had, we actually took and cut them and rewrapped them. So the bale density is so much better. And we're actually really excited. I think with this red clove, we'll probably go ahead and take the red clover, and I might try to bale that separately so it can be just a special crop, because evidently the horses don't really care for red clove. It's kind of not good for their digestive system. So we'll do that. And then the hay, of course, is mostly just brome and what's the other one? Brome,
some orchard grass and
orchard
Timothy grass.
Timothy grass. Those are the 3 main ones.
Yep.
And then, of course, there's some weeds and things in there, of course. There's no getting around that. So no chemicals, no nothing. It's just because we're too cheap. No chemicals, no fertilizer yet. Although that grass out there, I cannot believe it, but it looks better than our
like
sod.
Yard grass back there in the back.
And you can tell we
Because
really
this is our sod.
don't care much about it. And it's crazy because, like, this red clover here has made its way all the way through everywhere underneath the sod. And this was about probably 5 feet of clay. I mean, I don't know how it can even be possible. But the stuff that made it through, it's just incredible. Because when we did this walkout basement where they were over digging it, so they can go about 10 foot down on this back wall, which by the way, if you're curious, we have the build series for this house. You can go all the way back to when they were digging the basement, and we can relive the glory days of building this house.
No.
Yeah, we want to forget as quick as possible.
It's almost like putting together a drum mower.
Yeah, actually, building the drum mower was slightly easier than building the house.
Yes.
And it didn't last a year.
Was
Well,
shorter.
how long did we spend on the build? About 6 months?
We broke ground at the beginning of October and we moved in the end of May. So
Yeah. And
whatever that is.
Yeah. So we pretty much were moved in right away too. Within a week.
So about 7-8 months.
But man, it was. And the other thing too, you learn really quick when you do this process is you lose land so fast when you build a house. Because you get your septic tank or your septic field, and you know, luckily we ended up doing a sand filter, so
that's where the windsock is.
Yeah, where the windsock is. The other second windsock. And when they originally talked to us about it, they wanted to do 150 by 50.
Yeah.
It would have been huge.
Yeah.
So luckily we got away from that and ended up going with we wanted to do a siphon dose system, but we just didn't have enough fall.
Our property is unique in the fact that, like, when we're out here most of the time and you see us, it looks like, okay, that's your yard. But really, this is only half of it, because everything that's in the back, you know, past that tree line, we have double, you know, what we're kind of used to.
This is small.
This is actually
about
smaller. Yeah.
2.5 acres up here, and then there's about 3.5 of opening out there.
And
then there's 3.6
into the timber, to the creek. Yep.
Wraps. So we love it here. We looked for 7 years for property. Not hard, but when we looked, and we were just kind of happy with maybe not moving, and then all of a sudden we ran into a house we liked, and then they backed out, and next thing you know, here it is.
2 houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, that's the story. We're sticking to it. 75 to 80 pounds, or 70 to 80 pounds would be a safe estimate. What are we actually showing now? We're at 77.3, but probably because we're pitched down a little bit. What was it, 78?
Do you remember?
I don't know. You can go back.
Yeah, we'd have to look.
But either way, we don't have any pitch or roll correction on this, so it's just basically a scale. It needs to be level. You need to start from 0. So trying to share our lives with you a little bit, YouTube. And actually, we should thank you too, because even though you paid for one very, very small fraction of our life during the period we've been doing this, it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of our life. And we're very fortunate to have such an awesome audience. And the camera crew thanks you too. She always gets all sort of wonderful compliments. And we didn't even do this with our lapel mic.
I know. See, sorry guys.
But no, I wanted to hear the crickets and stuff.
Yeah. It's a little hot for lapel mics outside.
Yeah, I'd say. All right, that's all you get. Thanks for watching.